Is a major wrestling organization poised to make a dramatic comeback in the United States? The big news in wrestling from this week is that Billy Corgan, the frontman of Smashing Pumpkins and the one-time, albeit brief, president of TNA Wrestling, has purchased the National Wrestling Alliance. The whole dang alliance! As reported on Pro Wrestling Insider Monday, Corgan will own the rights and trademarks of the NWA, including the world title. Last time we saw Corgan, he was dumping millions of dollars into TNA, bailing them out on several occasions in terms of TV tapings. At one point, even tried to sue the company for ownership until his stake was bought out by Anthem. You know, that owl. On the one hand, this news is a relatively big deal. I mean, the NWA was at one point the largest governing body in all of wrestling. Those three letters and that championship belt still carry a lot of prestige among some wrestling fans. However, as a brand, the NWA hasn't really meant much since the early 90s. I mean, once WWF got big in the 80s, WCW split from the organization in 1991, the NWA really stopped carrying the same kind of stroke that it once had. Eventually, the organization partnered with TNA in those early years, but after that deal broke off 10 years ago, since then the NWA just kind of lingered, almost like a specter, surviving as a brand, being licensed across indie feds. And in my opinion, all this licensing has led to a real diminishing of value of the NWA brand over the years. For the most part, all you have to do to become an NWA member is sign some paperwork and pay an annual fee, and boom, you're part of the mythical NWA. Doesn't matter if your league's any good, you're part of the club now. That's what matters, right? I've always said that an upstart league can do well if it's backed by a wrestling fan with a lot of money, and Billy Corgan is definitely both of those things. With him buying the rights to the NWA name, there's a new buzz surrounding the organization that really hasn't been seen in a long time, but there still are a lot of things that need to be addressed first. First and most importantly, some kind of TV deal needs to be worked out. If the NWA can't get on television outside of the smaller indie feds that might have television, the brand means as much as it did before Corgan bought it. And if Jeff Jarrett couldn't get Global Force Wrestling on TV, then how much of a chance would Corgan have? Second of all, who's going to be part of your TV product? Who can you get with any kind of name recognition that isn't already signed to another major organization? I mean, who's even the NWA World Champion right now? Who? Now, outside of WWE, there are some pretty powerful alliances in wrestling at the moment. If the NWA can get in good with one of those alliances and do some talent exchanges, that would be amazing for them. Third, this question's on my mind. What's going to happen to all those smaller feds scattered around the country that are using the NWA license? What's going to happen to them? Will the good feds be promoted? Will the bad ones be totally shut out? What's going to happen with them? Now, personally, I think bringing back the NWA can be a good thing for wrestling, but it has to be done right. It can't be billed as a throwback. It can't be promoted as wrestling the way it used to be, because I don't think the demand for that kind of wrestling really exists on a big enough level in the United States. That isn't to say I don't think history is important, because it is. I think Corgan just needs to find the right balance. I mean, there's all this new exciting stuff happening with Lucha Underground and New Japan and the UK scene. They need to find some way to incorporate all of that into some kind of, wrestling, old school style of wrestling. If they can find some kind of hybrid, I think that would be ideal. Ever since he tried buying out TNA last year, lots of fans have speculated what Billy Corgan could do with a wrestling organization of that kind of size. Now that he has purchased the rights to the National Wrestling Alliance, the speculation begins again, but speculation and intrigue can only go so far. At this point now, it's up to Corgan to deliver a product that fans want to see. Obviously, the story is still very much in development, one that I'm hopeful to see how it evolves. Let me know what you think about this big story in the comments section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you like it, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.